Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest Gold, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. I'm sick. If I sound kind of bad at certain points, I apologize. I have some water on me, but I have a little bit of a cold, I guess I would call it. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited to be here. Talk about the Dreamstar final with you again. We talked about already, but we're gonna dive into it a little bit more. Talk about the Korakuen. Talk about the other Korakuen, and talk about the other
Yeah, the
Korakuen.
other cork and the other other
Yeah, other
cork.
color. Yeah, there's 4
Yeah,
Korakuens to talk about as far as I'm aware. Um,
I think so.
3, 4? No,
There's one
uh,
tomorrow.
there's one. Yeah, there's one tonight. So I don't. We'll
Yeah,
talk about things. Stay tuned.
we shall. Okay.
And Nagoya.
Yeah, and Nagoya. Head on over to the 5starnetwork.co for all of the latest articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling, and head on over to the 5-Star Network YouTube channel where this show and other shows go up if you want to help us over there. As Dylan mentioned, we did appear on Scott's GP review. It was very thrown together. He was like, "Oh shit, I have to record a review," and I was like, "I am here." I didn't tell him until 5 minutes beforehand that I would not be not inebriated. Um, and we just threw that together, and it was
See,
good buzz.
which is funny for us because that was a Saturday morning. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So like that's
it was
why
a
it was very
Saturday
funny that
afternoon
one
for
of
me.
us was drunk. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like so it sounds like it just seems funnier to me and Scott because it was just like for me it was
people
like
think I'm a
10:30.
wino. People thinking I'm a wino. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, then I also was on the ballot with the other
Mm.
Ring Post Radio host, Ryan, and we talked about Asuka slash Kana and her Observer Hall of Fame case and stuff like that. So if you want to hear whether I think she should go in or not, then you can listen to that. It is on their Patreon though. You do have to give them money, but I would say it's worth it. So thumbs
Yeah,
up.
uh, I don't have it, but the Count Patreon does seem like it's actually worth the like $5 because they're cool. They're cool people over there. Though I will say, if you've ever spoken to Alex about the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, you know what his answer is. Um, so it's like
I saw something today about how Kento Miyahara should go in, and I was like,
I
does
almost
this
started
mean
arguing with you,
nothing
but
to
then I was
you?
like, it's too early in the morning.
Yeah, he deserves to be named alongside Antonio Inoki for sure. Like Kento Miyahara
Well,
is definitely
I
as
think that's
important to
I think
history as Antonio Inoki and Giant Baba
that's not fair.
and
Like,
Hiroshi Tanahashi. He is
but even
definitely
Hiroshi
equally as
Tanahashi
important.
is not as important to the world of wrestling as Inoki. Nobody is. Chigusa isn't. You know, like that's like saying, well, you're not Ricky Dozan, so fuck you. It's like that makes no sense. But
That's why it's a Hall of
we're
Fame.
this is not this is not what we're here to do. We fight about this like every week.
Yeah. Dylan's one of these like, oh, you're like the NBA, how they retire numbers of a guy who grabbed like 20 rebounds in one game. And I'm more, we should only like have multiple serial winners and MVPs in a Hall of Fame kind of thing. You know,
See,
we're
but
very
when we
different
start talking about
approaches.
that, we're gonna. I will like come to your house and fight you because there's a certain name that we already argued about earlier this week. Shouts out Derek Rose, that we have differing opinions on. So
What
we will.
opinion is it to
We'll
have?
move
His
on.
knee exploded, and he
He
played
was the
10 years with
youngest. He
a
was the
blown up
youngest
knee,
MVP.
and his knee exploded. Like, what is there to discuss?
And he still dropped a fucking 40-point game in when he was fucking old as dirt.
That's
Come
really
on, get at me.
cool. That will get him his number retired for sure. That is
No, what I
number
man, no.
retirement levels
This is
for
ridiculous. This
definite.
is ridiculous. We're about to the show's about to end over Derek Rose of all
I
things.
I don't know. I just
Just
feel
move
like we gotta
on.
be more exclusive with things. But Yeah. We are going to start chronologically. Marigold was first. So Marigold is kicking us off this week. Um, so it's basically just the Dream Star, and then we can preview their Korakuen. They did have Marigold wrestlers outside of Marigold when Utami and Veni
Too, I think.
beat the. They do have an Osaka box. Utami and Veni, they won their tag match on the Kaiji Tomato Produce Show. It hasn't gone up anywhere as far as I know. Marigold
Yeah.
page uploaded some pictures, including Utami giving Veni the rose, and I was just like, this is exactly how we all expected this to go. So
Yuri also posted a picture before the match and said, "I've only ever met Utami intoxicated. Let's
that's
see how she
incredible.
does in the ring. Let's see how this goes. I'm really excited."
Very fun. So yeah, praying that eventually pops up. But even if it doesn't, I think Veni's presence willed Utami onto victory. So I think, credit Veni. But we'll get straight into that. We had the Dreamstar Grand Prix final on the 28th of September. This is 685 fans in the Nagoya International Conference Hall. Not great. I really don't think they should be happy with that at all. Sub 700 for a tournament final. They allegedly did two more for a house show in Nagoya a couple of months ago. So
Ooh, that is bad. Yeah.
fascinating. Yeah, Sari and Mai
That's
Sakurai
strange.
outgrew the
Yeah.
GP final.
To be fair, Nagoya, they ran that was like early in the morning for them.
Oh, yeah, the
Like it
show
was
was at,
like
like,
it
4
was like
AM for
10.
me. I just
Yeah,
was like,
it,
"No."
it was at like 10:30 a.m. in Japan or something
Yeah,
crazy like that, 11 a.m. So like that plus Nagoya, not like it wasn't going to merit a good number. I would have expected a better number, but yeah, definitely a disappointment there. Crowd sounded good, but yeah, it was light crowd.
very, very much so. Our Dream League campaign got off with Natsumi Showzuki beating Chika Goto in 7 minutes, well, just under 8 minutes. I thought this was a good showcase again from Chika. Really good babyface performance against the veteran, who obviously would know her very well from Actress Girls. So they kind of were able to work well together. Chika kept it simple, did the job, and Shizuki ended up with 7 points, which I think is a fairly. That's the kind of total you expect from the tertiary champion.
Yeah, I think this wasn't like anything crazy, but I thought that Shozuki continues to display that she just really clicks with both members of Twin Tower. Um, and I thought that was really cool, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun way to start the night. It was a bit longer than I expected, but like generally, I was happy with it, and I had a good time.
All right. We go on then to Victoria Yuzuki beating Nori in just under 6 minutes with the arrow thing,
Rolling
the
arrow.
flash pin, the rolling arrow. Um, this effectively eliminated Nori from the league, and quite the surprise. I think
Not
Yuzuki getting
really.
that upset. I did realize after that she is now claiming to be from Nagoya. I don't know if she always claimed to be from Nagoya, but she said now that she is from Nagoya. So had I known that, I would have probably expected the upset win.
Mm.
But I thought this was a
I
good
just
match. I
expected
thought
it
Nori
from
did
the
well.
jump regardless.
I just
Um,
thought there would be other upsets, but
well,
obviously
there
I was
wasn't.
wrong about just about the entire block. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my thing right now. I literally guessed every Utami match wrong. Um,
yes.
except for one. Except for I knew she was gonna beat Nori. Otherwise, it's like I got all of the upsets wrong. I got all of the like it's just really funny looking at. But yeah, for this match, it's like I thought it was very good. I watched the show with Scott and Xavi as I do for these earlier Joshi shows. If they're on early enough, then we will usually watch them together. And we were watching it. We were like, "How did Alex think Nori was gonna go to the final? Like that was crazy."
Because you guys really underestimate how much Rossi loves lanky shoot
Yeah,
fighters.
but you
Like that is
also
literally his
underestimate
dream.
how little she belongs to him as a roster member.
That has never
Um,
stopped him before.
I mean, Saori is world champion, but
Yeah.
because she belongs to someone else, because she's a Kandori, like she's in another company, I expected her to get, I expect her to be booked strong as she was, but I also expected Yuzuki to get that last day upset as she should have. And I thought this was a very fun match, another good outing from Yuzuki, and another good outing from Nori. Nori one of the better wrestlers of the tournament, just because she was always so interesting. Like every match of hers was
Yeah, she's
like
pretty fascinating.
even if the work wasn't like this like awe-inspiring thing, she just was always an interesting wrestler to watch. And regardless of how well she clicked with her opponent, you just kind of like kept your eye on it, and you couldn't really take your eye off it, like I said. So I think that was kind of Nori's tournament. I thought she had a great showing here as well as in most of her other matches, if not all of them. I thought she had a really good tournament, and I thought that Yuzuki also had mostly a good tournament outside of like a couple hiccups here and there. I thought she did very well, and this match was another example of that.
Yeah, Yuzuki is a little shithead, by the way. That is a new
Yeah.
wrinkle to her character. Is she was like, yeah, I won.
To be fair,
I've
that
eliminated you
was
from the tournament.
very that was going like the first Marigold fucking presser when she's talking
Yes.
all polite and then she just stops and goes, "Wait a minute, Nanai, what the fuck did you just say?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like that was when I was like, "Oh, she's gonna be a menace," and she has
Yeah,
been,
she's
and I
messy.
respect that.
Yeah.
Also,
The
after the match,
lead
she got on the mic, started talking shit. She said Jackie Sato better, and Nori jumped her. It was crazy.
Yeah, Nori literally had a body slam, which is one of the most insane post-match brawl things I've ever seen. I've
Yeah,
never seen somebody just scoop the shit talker up and body slam them. It was crazy.
people should
But
do it more, just to shoot
yes,
body slam.
for sure. But that was that, and both of them I think come away looking good. We then had a interesting Dream League match. Mirai and Nagisa Nozaki went to a double countout in 12 minutes. Um, and I mean, the wrestling was good when they were in the ring, and then they just did a lengthy outside of the ring segment where you could tell they were going to do the draw, but they had to wrestle outside for ages before they did the 20 count.
Mhm.
So I thought this was a bit eye rolly. It was kind of like some of the 5-star GP matches where I was like, I'm just rolling my eyes here. This looks like a skit instead of wrestling. Um, it's because, like, Nozaki and Jackie cheated a lot. Like, Mirai got a clean pin over Nozaki for Chiaki to pull the referee away. So you could
Yeah.
really have just had Nozaki get the win. And
Mhm.
Mirai can get her vengeance in a couple of weeks' time or whatever, instead of doing a forced draw. So I really thought this was poor. I think the finish really took it down a lot.
Yeah, I thought the work was pretty great. I liked it a lot until they got out of the ring. I even thought the Chiaki spot was really well timed because I don't think they've abused it too much. Like
Yeah.
Chiaki doesn't pull out the referee every single match that Nozaki's had. This is like the first time where it's like, oh, that's got to be something you kind of look at, and then she did it. That was like a well timed spot, but then it was immediately like, okay, we're just not going to continue from there. We're going to fragment off and do the finish. And that I always hate when that happens, when it feels like you stop wrestling and you start building to the finish. Like
Mm,
it's all meant to be one continuous motion, in my opinion. And it just isn't here, for example. And I said on Scott's show, I would have much rather if they just fought into the fucking street type of thing. You know what I mean? Where there's like Nozaki was just beating her up. No, because if now Nozaki's character is basically like, oh, I don't really give a fuck, then Nozaki just fucking ruining it for Mirai, just double count out, fuck you, I don't care. Like just kind of spoiler in the most like dickhead way
mm,
possible, where it's like actively taking something away from the fans, not even giving them a finish. I think that works, but I hate that they were both still trying to get back in the ring at the 20 count. I'm just like, can we just not? Like, just fight. Just
yeah.
Nozaki, just throw her away and just be like, I don't fucking care about getting back in the ring. I'm a killer. Like, just like do that. Like I think that works better from a Nozaki character standpoint. I think it works better to make Mirai not look lame as hell, and it makes Mirai more venomous going towards Nozaki. Like you purposefully got me counted out just to fuck with me, not even to benefit you, just to fuck with me. So I hate you now and we have beef. That works a lot better than them trying to get back in the ring when they clearly were never going to get back in the ring.
Yeah, yeah. We having two Joshi tournaments to watch in full is really gonna kill us on finishes because they're gonna run these so much, so much
Yeah.
between them and Stardom. We're just gonna have to always look bad.
I
And
like I said, I just wish that they were done uniquely.
Yeah, the
sometimes.
whole, like, pulling somebody at the leg and they, like, fall dramatically thing,
You don't need to do that every time. You
yeah,
don't need to do
it
that every
as I
time.
said, it's
Like,
less wrestling and more sketch comedy, like, it is not
yeah,
it is bordering on this isn't wrestling type of thing, but I
if
won't
you
go
if
that
you
far.
do it once in, every couple years, sure. It's like, "Oh, that's a finish that, like, that kinda sucks," but that's interesting that they actually, like, because everybody hates the 19 tees. I like the 19 tees when run back into the ring at the 19 count. I like it, but I appreciate them being like, "Well, sometimes you just don't. Sometimes it
Mm,
doesn't work." But you don't need to like, there are other ways to do countouts and more interesting ways to do countout finishes. And I think this is one instance where you 100% could have and should have done a different type of countout finish.
definitely. We then headed into the last Dream League match of the show with a dead heat between Utami Hayashishita and Koki Amare to decide who would win the block. Utami got the win over Koki in 9 minutes. They kept it short, kept
This
it
is
brief.
this is only 9 minutes. That's wild.
Well, no, again, cage match has been wrong for Marigold
True.
before, so just putting that out there. Um, yeah, I thought this was a solid match. I thought Utami looked good. I thought Koki, her inconsistency really shone through in this one. I think she could have done a
Hmm.
lot better. Um, I did think Utami showed up to the party, and we obviously understand why now, given that she won. But yeah, I thought this was a good match. But I remember just being like, okay, Utami's probably winning. Let's go on to see what's happening in Star League.
I feel like Koki bumped her ass off here, and I appreciate that because I think that's one thing that you don't really think about when you look at Koki's game is like she sells her ass off, she bumps her ass off. And I felt like that's what this match kind of showed. It was a different thing than she showed the rest of the tournament. The rest of the tournament was very much like what she can do on offense. Uh and when she was kind of on defense, you wouldn't really take much note of it. I felt like this match, I actively took note of Koki being able to really make Utami look good. And I think that was what I saw from this match. More so than maybe Koki, you know, uh, rise in the occasion and do something amazing, right? Maybe I think that she did what she needed to do. I don't think this was like a downgrade for her personally, but I do think that she wasn't as like active, I guess, in it in terms of just like being like a. It wasn't 50-50. I wouldn't say. I think Utami was pretty strongly an advantage. But then when she wasn't, when Koki was getting some near falls, I was legitimately like, biting on him. I think that's an Utami thing though, is that Utami is so good at selling a good near fall. And she did that here and she did even better in the
Um,
main event. So
yeah,
yeah,
some of the
I,
main
I like
event
this
ones were
match.
great.
Yeah. But even in
Um,
this one I was like at certain points I was like, Kogi better not be winning this, man. Oh, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like just like
yeah,
certain like
I
small
didn't
points.
think Koki was gonna win. Um, I was kind of set on Utami once everything had fallen into place. So I wasn't biting as much as on the Mai Sakurai match, where I was willing her on to victory.
Which is funny because I
Um,
feel like Koki going into the final to lose makes more sense than Masakura going into the
can
final to
I be
win.
honest with you? I went to check your table to see the standings because
Ah,
I didn't understand and I thought I saw Utami at 10 and I went, ah, bollocks, and immediately left. So I was like 80% sure that it had been spoiled, but I was also partially like maybe that was left over from last week when he was testing out numbers. So 'cause I was
so you had a
watching this
yeah.
and I couldn't go on Twitter because obviously, and so I was like, I don't actually know what the point totals are. I don't know who's going through. When Bozilla won her match, I thought she was through until I was able to check the
Mm.
Marigold account. I was like, I have no clue what's happening because they didn't. I don't think they showed the points at
Yeah,
all at any point during
the
the
one
show.
time, the singular time where I think that English commentary
Yes,
is
I actively was
necessary,
like, I will listen to English commentary just for the
there was
tables,
no
but
English
there
commentary.
was
Like
none.
the one time that I was like, because I don't think English commentary is necessary for most wrestling, but for late tournaments, you want English commentary, frankly, in my opinion.
And the
Um,
Marigold account hadn't posted the table that
mhm.
recently. Like I scrolled on their Twitter. I don't think they had posted it before the final. So I was genuinely like, I have no idea what the standings are for half of the show. So yeah, that's why I didn't think Goki was winning. Just
Okay, that's fair. But I thought that there was some chance because I was watching it live. You were watching it like an hour on delay. Uh, So yeah, different. I think selling points. I guess I
Mm.
think Utami is one of those wrestlers that's just like you want to watch her live because she's so, similar to a Hazuki. I would say. What do you look at that personal trainer, help trainer? Uh, I think there is a certain level of just like Utami just really sells a near fall better than anybody, pretty much. And she did that here, and she did it more so in the main event. But we can move on.
We reset then for the bottom of the barrel in Star League when Kazuna Tanaka beat Chiaki to get her first points of the tournament. It was kind of hard to focus on this one coming down from the final and just being like, well, this doesn't have any impact on the
Yeah,
standings. So it was kind of just there. But I thought they did solid work. You know, Kazuna and Chiaki, they're fairly
I thought
natural
Kazuna.
pairing.
I thought Kazuna did some very good work. In fact, she like
I thought the
she.
finish was good, and
Yeah,
I thought it was funny because I distinctly remember you saying she never wins with it, but I bite for it every time, and then she did in fact win
Yeah,
with it.
no,
Yeah.
100%. Well, to be fair, she hit it and Chiaki sold it better than literally anybody else has. So I was like, oh, she should win with that. But similarly, like, 30 seconds earlier, Kazuna got her in a Fujiwara and her arm was just straight up like on the other side of her body. I was like, she should just
Yeah.
tap out. Like this is a this is a fucked up Fujiwara. This is like she's putting stank on this shit. And I was like, damn, Kazuna's like that was when I was like, oh, Kazuna's winning because she's just actually trying to fucking make it look like she's killing her. And I thought that was sick. But I thought the match itself was fine. I thought it was
Yeah.
all right. Uh this was the match that I was kind of like, okay, I really want Chiaki to be able to grow more, and that's not going to happen in this sort of tournament. So
No.
how are we going to help Chiaki grow? That's where all
You
of
can
the
tell nobody
the
cared about
yeah,
this match because it's the only one on cage match without a rating because there hasn't been
that's
enough people that
wild.
voted on it to give it a rating. It only has 2, and you can need like
Yeah,
4 or
I
5.
don't I don't
So
I don't blame him because it's like it was. I don't like
this was the
I don't
toilet break. Like the
I don't
the
even have a proper rating for it. I think I gave it
yeah.
a 5.5, but it probably was higher, but it also might have been lower just because it was fine. Like I just have no real thoughts about it, so I kind of landed it there.
Mm,
Because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like actively good.
just didn't matter. It's hard
Yeah.
to care sometimes. But
Chiaki, go train with
we
Shigusa
did
Nagata challenge.
hell yeah. We did get on then to Mai Sakurai beating Misa Matsui in 6 minutes. I thought Mai Sakurai did a really good job leading this match. I think she set a high bar, intensity wise, pacing wise, that Misa Matsui is capable of clearing. Because Misa is one of these wrestlers who really works to her opponent. Like if her opponent is like, okay, we're doing this, she's able to meet her at that. And if her
Yeah.
opponent is in like second gear, Misa will also wrestle in second gear. So I think Mai
Mhm.
Sakurai really set the bar high for Misa, and she was able to deliver. And I thought they had a really fun match here. But I really did think like Mai Sakurai leading a match is not something most people thought they would see, especially against somebody as talented as Misa Matsui. So fair play to her. Because even despite me championing Mai Sakurai, I think she's even surprising me with some of the things she's been able to do in this tournament and some of the matches she's been able to have.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's had a very good term. I didn't think this match necessarily stood out to me all that much. Um, but I also think that I was kind of just like waiting for like the big stuff. And then I
Yeah.
found out as the finishing stretch was going on, and as my Sakurai was getting the STF on, I was like, Misa Matsui's not canonically strong enough to survive a STF. What the fuck is happening? What is happening, guys? Like I was legit like, guys, what's happening? And then she won. And I was like, oh. And then like the realization that my Sakurai was just through because of her win. Like there was the
Mm.
only person that could catch her was Sari, and that wasn't gonna happen. I was just like, oh,
Wasn't there technically a world in which they could have done a three-way tie,
they
which
could
would
have had
have
a Tomoe
changed
battle,
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
with Nanai, Sari, and my
but they
Sakurai.
weren't going
Would
to
have
do
been
that. You're
sick.
not. You're
Would
not
have been
doing that.
sick, but yeah, that wasn't gonna
Oh, for
happen.
sure. That would have been like crazy. But yeah. Speaking of Nanai, in our next match, Miko Ono and Nanai Takahashi wrestled to a 15-minute time limit draw to effectively take both of them out of contention. Um, I thought this was great. The 5-minute call happened, and I was like, Nanai has been smacking the shit out of this woman for like the entire match. Somebody please help Miko Ono. Um, and they just kept going from there. Like this was really snug, really well done. Really well paced as well for a 15-minute draw. I think they just kind of smacked into the time limit instead of crawling to it. Um, yeah, I think if they wanted to run this back, I wouldn't be too upset because I think Mika Ono, especially throughout the tournament, has been really good. But there's clearly another level to her game that she hasn't
Hmm.
hit, and her at the top of her game with this version of Nanai, it could definitely eclipse this.
Oh, 100%. I think Miko Aono successfully dodged the white belt jinx in this
Yeah.
tournament by the end. I think that like what you start to kind of realize is the story Miku was telling was really just like a trial by fire. In the and the issue with that is that there were three wrestlers in her block that were really going to push her, and
Mm,
that was the story, was Miku getting pushed. So everybody else in the block, those matches did not matter a single bit, right? So like
yeah.
Miku versus Miku versus Mai didn't matter, but it was still very good. But Miku versus Kazuna and Miku versus Chiaki and Miku versus Matsui didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like at all from a story perspective. But matches like this, matches like the Bozoa one and matches like the Sari one were really like you are going to carry the weight of your belt and you're going to have to fucking learn to deal with that. And I thought that this match was the perfect crescendo of that, the perfect climax of that, because Nanai was just lighting homegirl up, man.
Mm.
She was kicking her. And I was
Yes.
just
Oh
like,
my god.
oh, that's gonna fucking piss me off. Because Nanai's just like, you know what? She just starts shoot kicking her. I was like, damn, she took 2 kickboxing lessons and said, you're gonna die today. And I was just like, that's what's up, man. I think Nanai I think the world of Nanai, obviously. I've said that a million times in the past what 2 years now, year and a half since the 7 Up run, pretty much. Uh, but I think that Nanai is on such a different level from basically everybody else right now, in the company, and I'm saying that as someone who loves like a good 6 people in the company and think they are some of the, they're the best wrestlers, in the world. And Nanai is just so absurdly good right now. And I thought this match really showed that. I thought that she really was able to just beat the hell out of Miku, and then when Miku like pushed back, I like was just locked in. Like it really
Mm.
got you. Um, because you want to see Miku push back like that. And when she just stepped up to her, like kind of just like I forget what the word is, just kind of like pop-eyed her and just was like, you know what, I'm here too. I can fight. Like, don't fuck with me. I was like, yes, like I was just so excited. And those last few minutes were just super fun. This is one of my favorite matches of the tournament, if you couldn't tell by how I'm talking about it. It was just a ton of fun. I loved it.
It was
But I
indeed.
agree. Like I think Nanai, even in this tournament, had some of the had probably the highest. Well, she definitely had the highest average per match, just in terms of like star rating or whatever. But a lot of them could have been better. Like she still has like a whole nother zone that she didn't reach in a lot of these matches, including this one, including the Sari one, that they could always revisit and have an even better match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and especially Iono.
Hmm.
Definitely has another tier to her game that she didn't touch yet. Um, their final block match then in the Star League was Bozilla beating Sari in just under 10 minutes to eliminate Sari from contention and send Mai Sakurai through. Um, this one is kind of mixed reception. I think some people like it and some people don't. I was fascinated by it just to see Sari put on the back burner for once because I'm so like
Hmm.
we've all watched a lot of Sari matches. She is always full of piss and vinegar, and she is going to absolutely rampage on her opponent. She couldn't really do that with Bozilla
And
because
and even
Bozilla
when
is
she is the underdog in a match or like is kind of like positioned that way, she still is very venomous. Like look at the Nanai match where
yeah
it's like Nanai was in control for a lot of that, but Saori at no point was like actively like down and out in any way. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
she was still always trying to get back up and, beat the shit out of her. Like this match was the first time that she really like had to endure uh
yeah.
a beating and wasn't getting back up for it.
It was just really interesting to see her doing that and seeing her try to do whatever she could to chop down Bozilla. I think
Mhm.
Bozilla as well. this is one of those performances where I really remember how smart she is, because she did like the dive to the outside, she hit the moonsault, she had that crazy power bomb, and it's like this is all stuff she has in her locker and can do, but she doesn't pull it out in every match, because you shouldn't pull it out in every match. And that's one of the reasons I really love Bozilla, is like you can tell this is an intelligent wrestler. I think matches like this really show that, because she dipped into her
Mhm.
bag of tricks deeper than we've really seen in Marigold, and kept bringing new stuff that made you go, holy shit, how is Sari going to get past this monster? And in the end, she doesn't. Bozilla just power bombs the shit out of her, gets the win, grabs the belt, and is like, I may not have gone through, but I will take your belt. And I think for
Mhm.
Bozilla to be the first person in the company to beat Sari, it's really, really smart. And I think it's going to set up a really hot match when they eventually run it.
Eventually, I'm pretty sure like Sari's like, I don't want to wrestle anybody else until I beat Bozilla. Pretty much, she has to have tag matches and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the story where they're going with, and that's what I was gonna say. Is I thought the work in this match was very good, but I thought that the storytelling and like the way that the wrestlers kind of layered what they did was great and brilliant. I talked about it a little bit the other day that it's like Sari has a great way of displaying her kryptonite. Like I think for such a protected wrestler, she isn't afraid to be like, yeah, I have weaknesses as a wrestler. Like, I feel like maybe that's what people have problems with Chiro Hashimoto for, is that she very rarely is willing to display weakness, even when she loses. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Whereas I think Sari is very much willing to be like, yeah, I have very clear weaknesses. You just got to find them, and then I will eventually kind of like overcome them. Like, she's not afraid of that whatsoever. So in this match, the weakness was her power bomb. Obviously, like early on, Brazil tried to go for the power bomb. Saori immediately tried to get out of it. A little bit later, she tried to go for the power bomb again, and Saori was like yanking her hair and punching her in the head, headbutting her, just like literally doing anything so that she didn't have to, survive the power bomb because she knew she couldn't. And that urgency kind of shows her hand from a storytelling perspective that once she got hit with the power bomb, it was over. And I think that was really cool the way that Saori kind of did that and the way she was able to put over Bozilla in that way. It was similar to how she put over Mayu uh, at the spring show in Stardom, where she was just like she was in control until Mayu hit one dragon suplex, and it was like, oh, don't like that. And then, like, as the match went on, it was, like, mostly Saori, but Mayu would just reverse something, get a dragon suplex, and it would completely change the tide of the match. And that was her weakness. And so in this match, I think that she did yet another great job of displaying her weakness, presumably so that she can get that win back and maybe survive the power bomb in that match, or maybe just avoid it altogether. I think that they're just really smart about that, and I think Saori's just a really genius wrestler. I also love the fact that since then she has been nonstop talking about Bozilla, uh, and like she can't get over this loss. I think that's a great way to kind of put over Bozilla as her next challenger. Is that she's like, I don't care about anything. I am tunnel vision on beating Bozilla. That's the only thing that matters. This is it. Let me fight her immediately. I think that's a great way to put over her first defense of the belt.
Wow, it is a first defense. That's crazy. Um, yeah,
I think
I
I they're making the red belt defenses like
very
important,
rare. Yeah.
and earned, which I don't mind.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we don't have enough time really to do it, because I think we could go back and forth for hours about how intelligent Sari is.
Mhm.
The Joshi scene would benefit from a dozen Saris, people with her kind of brain for pro wrestling, because she does everything you could ask for of a pro wrestler. Even just promos and stuff. She understands promos. She understands working the media. She understands how to build stuff in the ring. She is very willing to take a loss if it goes somewhere. She's really just an absolute genius. I think more wrestlers should really strive to be like Sari.
Mm.
But yeah, we move on to the final then. The Dream Star final. Utami Hayashishita beats Mai Sakurai in 16 and a half minutes to become the inaugural Dream Star winner, I guess. Dream Star winner? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and I was so hopeful that they might give Mai Sakurai the tournament, that she would have the big crowning moment and she would like
No.
fight Sari. And I was gonna go on a whole thing about how it made sense for her to pick up Julia's rivalry and everything. And then Utami shows up in the mask. And I just went, oh
The
fuck.
cut hair, the mask.
The
She
cut
was,
hair, the
yeah.
mask. I went, man, she's gonna kill my girl here. And yeah, Utami did walk away with the win, and I was very upset. I may have said some things about Utami that I did not mean. Um, but yeah, I was
But
so.
that's okay because you're dumb. Utami's like the greatest wrestler in the world.
That is so
Um,
mean. I was in mourning. How like leave me alone.
Man, no. This is. I think people need to understand. DDM strikes again.
Yeah,
Uh,
when
which
when
was going to
I
happen. Like like I still am kind of like, man, it would have been sick of Mirai one.
mm,
Also a DDM member, so that's kind of funny. But
DDM must
and
win.
Mirai, has to be the early favorite to win next year. Um, Depending on how things go over the next 12 months, I feel like that's just where I'm at mentally. Um, but yeah, DDM strikes again. Natsupoi and Tekla, the only two people to not make it to a tournament final. Uh,
Don't jinx us.
a singles tournament final. Yeah, knock on wood.
Tekla was definitely in the
I'm gonna
MIRAI
have
and
some
Mai.
words about fucking Tekla in a little bit. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah,
Um,
God.
but yeah, I thought that, I was like, I can't believe they did it again, and I can't believe Mai Sakurai had probably my favorite tournament final of the year overall in
Um,
wrestling.
you weren't rocking with Catch the Wave. You weren't rocking with it. And
Don't
weren't
talk to me about that.
Champions Carnivaling.
I don't. I
What
think I
was
like
I don't
this
even know
match
the
more
Champion
than.
Carnival. I don't even know what the Champion Carnival was. And I
Oh,
don't even.
don't ask me.
Okay,
I quit. I quit halfway through the Champion Carnival.
that's fair.
Um,
Honestly,
it was
um,
not lovely,
the,
but
the
like I
thing
think
is,
this was
this was
probably
like the
better than
best of
Yoda
Utami.
and Zach.
Oh yeah, I mean, duh.
Which was a very good match. Like it was one of the better matches that Yoda Tsuji's ever had. But I think this was probably better than it. So
Probably,
yeah,
yeah. No, this
this
was
is
the
probably my
best of
favorite.
Utami. She
Mhm.
like really excels in these sorts of situations because she is very good at those near falls. She is very good at layering out a finishing stretch. I thought Mai Sakurai and the unpredictability of like, is she gonna do one of Julia's finishers and maybe win it in Julia's name because she tried for the Glorious Driver at one point, and I was kind of like, oh, what if she tries for the Northern Lights Bomb or something? So everything Mai Sakurai did was like, is this going to be the move that wins the match?
Yeah.
And then on the counter side,
She
Utami dropping her on her neck and getting these 2 counts, and I was like, oh my god, Mai Sakurai, keep getting up. They did
she
really really
even
well.
hit a tiger suplex, which I think had to be an homage to
She
Tam.
directly copied Tam's form, so I would imagine
Yeah.
so.
Which I also thought might have gotten it. It
Yeah,
was a bit early, but I was like,
that was
that's a
nasty.
big move.
Dropped her on her head.
Like that's the styles clash in like Joshi. You know what I mean? Where it's like it doesn't
Mm.
really beat anybody. Everybody just stole it from AJ. I'm talking about like Osprey's styles clash and Kenny's styles clash and
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah.
Where it's like it's just a move that you always bite for, even though it's not gonna win,
The
like
one thing
ever.
I liked as well is Utami had built up the German throughout the tournament, and then
Hmm.
she used it to get Mai Sakurai a big kick out here, which is very
Yes,
basic
love
pro
that.
wrestling, but should always be pointed out and praised because, like, yeah, put effort into what you're doing, think ahead, and she did that.
Yeah,
And
I think this was just such a fun match.
mhm,
Like I feel like this was a match that felt rewarding to watch. Um, because it felt like a culmination properly. You know, what I mean, it felt like a culmination of what this tournament has been about, and it felt like a culmination of both these wrestlers. If you've watched Utami from the jump, from the beginning, like me and Alex have, starting, we both started watching around the time Utami debuted. Um, you look at things. It's like she won with the torture rack powerbomb, which was how she won her first GP victory over Himeka. You look at the mask, right? Like you look at just these small things. You look at the German suplex that my Sakura was able to kick out of. Even the shocking Baszler, I was like, I appreciate her pulling that out just because. Like I
yeah.
think it's just fun to like really display that you're reaching into your pocket to try to win this. and I thought that was a great job. I thought Utami did a great job on offense, but I also thought she had a great time doing what she does best, which is making you believe every single near fall without it being like dumb. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like there are people who will literally kick out at 3.5, but the ref won't count it because they want to be so close to the and it just looks bad. Like Utami doesn't do that. She's just so good at kicking out at the right time. Um yeah, I love this match obviously. You can talk a
Mhm.
little bit more.
Well, no, I've been talking myself into thinking it was better than it was because the more I'm thinking on it, I'm like, wow, they did a lot of really great stuff.
Mhm.
Um, I did want to kind of move on a bit and discuss how we feel about Utami as the winner, because before when we were previewing the tournament, we were like, she doesn't feel embedded in Marigold just yet. Like she doesn't feel like she should be the winner.
Which at some
Um,
point during the tournament, she started telling that story, which was
She
weird.
did. I that's what I was like,
Because
Mirai
it's
just
like,
a few
"Oh, so
weeks
she's
ago said, "You
definitely
aren't
losing.
Utami." Like, "You
So
aren't
she's
the
definitely
Utami."
losing."
Yeah,
And then
like,
she
there
won.
she did. Because, yeah, we're 3 weeks removed from Mirai going, "You aren't Utami,
Mariah
I
beating her
remember."
in
Like,
10 minutes and being like, "That was way too easy. You need to
yeah,
get
who
fucking
even
good."
are you? Um, so I think it is, narratively, it is a bit interesting, but I can totally see why Rossi did this. This is his ace. This is his trump card, and for the first tournament in this new company, why not just go with your top star? You know, she is essentially the franchise of Marigold. Even if a Mayu does come in, even if somebody else does jump, Tommy will have been the one that was there from the start, and she is always going to be one of the franchise players. So I can totally see why he would set the tone and go, look, we're going with Utami. She's going to be our first winner. Especially because her and Sari doesn't need to wait a year to happen. Like you don't need to go through a 9 month arc. You can just do it. Like this is a big match either way.
Mhm.
And I trust that in the 3 months, the 2 months really that we have, they will competently tether things together.
No,
Um,
it's 3 months to the day.
3 months, yeah, it is. Wasn't sure, but like in the 3 months, I think they will do enough to build it up, and I can see why they would go through Tommy, even if before the tournament it didn't look the most ideal choice, and it probably isn't the most ideal choice, but I don't. It's not wrong either.
No, I think that was always the case. I mean, Utami is the best. You know, I mean, like frankly, she is very, very good and she makes sense for this role. I think we were just both kind of like looking at like she probably like has some like side quests to do still before we jump to that point. You know what I mean? And I guess she just didn't. Maybe she does.
Mm.
Maybe she loses to Sari, and we
That's what I'm
still
thinking. I
kind
would
of
like that because I really
push it
don't
down the
want the
line.
Sari thing to end just yet. She's doing really,
I would
really
appreciate it
well
if
in
I
her
would
role.
appreciate it if Utami lost there. That does come, you know, I get not wanting your first two big shows to end with Sari winning because she's not on your roster, but I do think that probably the better idea is
Mm.
an Utami loss, especially because I'm still sticking to I want to see Sari and Mirai. Like Mirai has done every
Yes.
time she's gotten on the mic, she's been like, "Oh, and by the way, Sari, I'm coming for you." Like every doesn't matter what the context is. She's also mentioned it's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Sari's a bitch." And I think that like should be paid off, you know, and that would be a lot of fun, even if it is Sari beating her too. Um, I imagine Sari probably loses to one of those two, then Utami or Mirai. But you know, like I think that would be a lot of fun, and I am wondering if they put Utami in to lose there. Um,
Could. They could, yeah. I don't think she necessarily has to win the belt. I think,
I don't either.
fine either
I
way.
think
She's
and I
Utami.
think ultimately a big part of it is just that they wanna sell tickets, and I
Yeah.
think they are I think they might be having a harder time than they thought they would, a few months in, just, like, keeping the momentum going, for
Yeah.
these bigger shows. So I imagine, you know, even if there was a plan to, like, "Oh, it's gonna be Mariah and Sareee, and, you know, like, we're gonna really invest in Mariah," it's possible they were just like, let's just let's sell tickets on our biggest match that we could possibly do."
Mm. In
And they were just
fairness, I
like,
think the
"That's why
Julia
not?"
thing really kind of probably didn't help because the
Yeah. She
initial
was meant to be
idea from
around for a
Dave,
while.
yeah, like the initial Dave things was like she's going to be around for a while. WWE isn't in a rush, and then it's kind of like she got hurt and WWE panicked. 'Cause even
Mhm. No,
Like
I
in
think that's
WWE
exactly what happened.
canon, her and Roxanne is really forced, given that they have Stephanie right there. Um, so I think maybe Julia was meant to be a longer term thing with Sari, and they had to cut it short and maybe change tact to Tommy because it really did feel like Julia was meant to be here longer. Dave was always like, "Yeah, there's no rush," and then all of a sudden it was like, "Oh no, they want her now." Like
Yeah, I
she's
think
going.
I feel like she was probably meant to be around until first stream,
Yeah,
at least. Like
yeah,
maybe not full time, but like on a you know regular basis be around. And then she just wasn't. Cause yeah, I think things did change when she got hurt. Very notably, just amongst
and also I would
whispers
imagine
and from
maybe
Dave.
like NXT got the TV deal maybe and realized, oh shit, we need to move that up because I don't know how.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
like I
also
don't
the
know
fact that
obviously
that
how far in advance they got that.
Steph has had visa issues, so they kind of
Mm,
wanted to run one or the other, and they were like, "Oh, that's probably going to take longer. We could just get Julie here now, pretty much."
yeah,
Uh, especially, and I think her getting hurt kind of forced their hand, where they're like, "Well, we don't want her being hurt again in this you know psychotic Joshi wrestling ring where people get hurt all the time." uh I wouldn't be surprised if it just all kind of coincided with each other and led to Julia leaving a lot sooner than she meant to, and thus maybe pushing Utami earlier, you know what I mean, which is no, like, that's not a problem. Utami is always ready for the top spot. She's always ready to have the best match of the year. Like, that's truly how I feel about Utami, is that she's just waiting to show up. Uh, and I'm excited for that match. Obviously, Utami versus Sari. Ideally, Bozo doesn't beat Sari. Uh, I mean, hey, if Nanai gets a shot before the Utami match, we'll talk about it. You know how
yeah,
Nanai makes me feel. Maybe
fair.
I'll be like, man, I love Sari, but give me that rematch. Give me that rematch. You never know. But I am really excited for Utami Sari, and I am interested in the decision. Maybe we just overthought it, and we were thinking like,
Possible,
oh,
yeah.
Rossi likes to kind of like. It feels like this is the time to really build up a Mirai who is, a top 3 star in your company, but like needs that little oomph. And I think this time it would actually work if you gave her
Mhm.
that little oomph. Uh, but there's also the Rossiism of just like play the best hand you got, and that hand is Utami versus Sairi.
Yeah, then especially for the competition in early January, I feel like you need
Yes.
to bump it up. But yeah, that was that. Good GP, good tournament. I do not want to see tournaments again for a little while. I'm tired.
What was
Need a
your
break.
match of the tournament, and who was your MVP? I know we talked about it
Oh
the other
man,
day,
I
but
cannot. Whatever I said on Scott's show is the match of the tournament. I don't remember anymore.
yeah,
MVP is obviously Nanai. Nanai was the one.
yeah. Utami very close to hitting MVP just because that last match was so absurdly good.
Yeah.
But I do think on a consistency level, Nanai was just like, you can't miss her matches. Outside of the Chiaki one, I legitimately think you should watch every single Nanai match in this tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like she was insane. Um, but there are two Marigold shows to preview then as well. The first is on October 5th in the Osaka 176 box. Kazuna Tanaka opens the show by taking on Flying Penguin from 2.5 Pro Wrestling. This is a Momoka Hanazono thing because she got booked in Osaka last time. She is like the women's GM of 2.5 Pro Wrestling. I imagine she was like, "Hey, you should book Flying Penguin. She's chill." So, never seen Flying Penguin. I don't know if 2.5 Pro Wrestling even airs. When they were announced, I'm pretty sure it was all meant to be free and everybody could watch for free. And then it all changed, and I don't even know if they're on. So that's the fun. But yeah, Flying Penguin, beast name. Love the mask. Love the gear. Hope she's a beast.
Yeah, they said, was it like Ranmaru who suggested there? It was Hanazono and somebody else that suggested Flying Penguin. Uh,
I could definitely see Ranmaru being like, yeah, y'all should book Flying Penguin.
I mean, hey, I believe in Ranmaru.
Ranmaru, AJW alumni. Ranmaru,
Zap,
Ninja
former Zap,
Ranmaru. Former Zap.
winner of
Ninja Ranmaru.
yeah, former winner of the Dump Matsumoto gets fired and Fang Suzuki blows up deathmatch. Um,
Nice.
she won that match. Yeah,
Incredible.
I don't even
Um,
know what it was. I just saw it on Cage Match. And I was like,
I don't
that's
know either.
crazy. Whatever it is.
Our next match is a handicap match. Bozilla takes on Nao Ishikawa, Myla Grace, Komo Minami, and Minami Yuki. Third. I know Viper used to beat up 3 children at a time, but Bozilla is going to beat 4 grown adult women at
Yeah.
once. That is absurd.
At least
Okay.
Rhea Seto isn't getting her return match here.
That's true. You know, I'm surprised they haven't put on Naho Yamada.
Hmm.
She like showed up at Korakuen and isn't on anything else.
She.
It's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
weird.
she's not on this upcoming Korakuen, is she?
Yeah, unless she has other commitments, maybe. Because a lot of the actress girls probably had theater stuff pre-booked, but I honestly I don't know what she's up to. Speaking of Rhea Seto, she is teaming with Misa Matsui against Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki. So probably a win for the Dark Wolves right there.
Yeah, I'm excited for her to come through though. That's cool. I'm happy for Rhea to be back.
For sure. Mai Sakurai takes on Chika Goto in a singles match, and that's probably a Mai Sakurai. Oh, no, it's a draw. They're gonna go to a draw. I just know it.
Wait, this is wild. Flying Penguin specifically said, "I'm a huge fan of Rossi Ogawa."
Nice.
And I'm just like, that's very funny. Like
Yeah.
nobody who goes to Marigold is just like they're usually like, oh yeah, I'm really I want to be in the same company that Nanai works in. I respect. She's just like I am a fan of Rossi Ogawa.
I want
Uh,
the bag, please.
it's
Can
not
I have the
yeah.
bag?
Uh, shout out Flying Penguin. Yeah, it could be a draw, but I don't know. Are we getting right back
Preview
into
of the tag
draws?
title match.
What was the lineup?
What? It's Chika and Mai. Aren't they in the tag title match?
Yeah. Wait, it's a
Yeah.
singles?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm all over the place. My Sakura's winning. I
What?
thought you were
Are you
talking about
sure?
a totally different match.
No, it's in. You're on the Osaka show, right? Mai Sakurai and Chika.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I have it as a draw.
I think my Sakurai wins that.
Okay. In the main event, then, I assume, of the Osaka show, Miko Aono, Koki Amarai, and Natsumi Showzuki take on Utami Hayashishita, Mirai, and Victoria Yuzuki. If I had to guess,
Fun,
Yuzuki is
fun,
going to take
fun.
a pin to somebody. Maybe Showzuki, because they are in the Superfly thing, and one imagines you can get Superflyed and lose.
Uh, this is the day before. I think Yuzuki beats Shizuki,
Okay, I can see it.
and then Shizuki gets it back.
All right. Um, Now the Korakuen is you have to scroll up for the Korakuen and then back down for the big 2 matches, but it's okay. I can handle it. So on the 7th, we have a Korakuen Hall show. The 7th is it's a Monday again. Gosh, those are really did not get good Korakuen days this year. Um,
No, and these are better than they were originally supposed to, as far as I know.
that's true, actually. Yeah. So I believe we open with Utami Hayashishita and Kazuna Tanaka versus Nanai Takahashi and Nao Ishikawa. Um, I mean, Utami's gonna win that one, and now
I
Ishikawa's the
appreciate
only
that
one
the.
beaten.
By
The
the
one
way,
winning
I
both of
appreciate
them.
that the website is like vaguely functional now.
Oh, the Marigold one?
Yeah,
I haven't visited it in a while. Let me go.
it functions.
Whoa. I've been using the Twitter, and the Twitter is not very intuitive. I don't know why social media managers are really bad in wrestling, but most of them are just like, here's everything, and we're gonna retweet everything.
It's still like not great,
Um,
but it
yeah,
is usable now.
shows me the Feels Forever card when I go onto the website, and a
Yeah,
April press
the problem
conference.
is that it's just a ton of ticket things instead of like schedules and stuff.
Yeah. So does it not have the card for this Korkin that we're talking about? Do I have to
It
go
did, but then it
to a
didn't.
different?
I was trying like I
Did
found
and
it
then
and
it
then now
didn't.
it's gone.
Yeah, I can totally understand. The website is a mess. Um. Okay, back to Twitter. Um. Is this a full card? There's most of the people aren't on this show. They're just not going to announce it.
That's why I was like, oh, like cuz I like the when I went on Twitter I was like, oh, that's not like great.
There's only 4
Like I couldn't
matches.
find.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see. So it's Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki taking on Sari and Miku Aono. That's almost definitely going to a draw. Yeah, almost 100%, unless they have just Bozilla fully rampage and beat Iona or something.
Um, no, I think Bozil gets another win.
Okay, I
Uh,
would
but
be on board.
but I mean, it could be a draw.
Yes, I mean it's a Korkin. I definitely see them running one draw. To give people their
Yeah, I don't know.
15-minute wrestling match.
I feel like I feel like that could easily be a draw. I feel like I don't know. Putting Bozil over Sauri again is kind of messy. Like I don't know if you want to do that twice.
I
Then
mean, how
again,
many times has Sari lost to Chihiro Hashimoto?
that's what I
I
was about
think
to
she's
say.
okay.
Like Sauri loves losing to Chihiro Hashimoto in tag matches,
Yeah.
so it's very possible Brazil just beats her again, and it
Mm.
further it further infuriates Sauri.
Yeah, for sure. I can see it. In the Superfly division, we have our first Superfly Championship defense when Natsumi Showzuki defends against Victoria Yuzuki. This is almost definitely a Showzuki defense. Um, don't see why you would give Yuzuki the belt just yet. And imagine Showzuki doesn't drop until Matsui. So
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that Izuki probably gets a roll up day before or 2 days. I don't remember what day
2
it is.
days, yeah, it's
Yeah,
fifth
two
and
days
seventh.
before. Then yeah, I think she gets the win there, and then she loses the title match.
Yeah.
I hope it's good though. I
Um,
think I think they can make good on their weaker tournament
oh,
match.
the rest of the card is here. It wasn't posted on the English account. It's on the Japanese.
Okay,
We have a special Dreamstar special singles match. Misa Matsui takes on Chiaki.
I
Um,
did see that.
is that because
Yes,
they both finished last in their block?
I think they're giving Matsui her win back.
Oh, are they in the same block? Oh, I didn't
Yes,
realize. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Matsui over Chiaki. Then Rei Seto and which one? Komomo Minami, yes, take on Minami Yuki and Mila Grace. I think Mila Grace probably wins there. She's like gets the veteran bump sometimes.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm still trying to find this card.
On the Japanese Marigold account.
Okay, I only see the 4 matches. This isn't great. Yeah. Komo Minami is still on her losing streak. Um,
She is
so
also on a
Miley
losing
Grace
streak.
wins.
Incredible. Two wrestlers on a losing streak in mix. Um, then our
Yeah.
main event of the show, and presumably the last match, is Mirai, Mai Sakurai defending the tag titles against Toki and Chika. Um, Again, I think it's too early for the Mirai and Mai Sakurai to drop. I like a twin tower are definitely going to get the belts eventually. I think there's probably other teams to drop to and other defenses to get through first. So yeah, I would have Mirai and Mai Sakurai retain here.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could. I think there's just more to do with them as a tag team, right
Yeah,
now. And I also think. Oh, in that case, I don't know. It depends on what we're doing with the wipeout. Uh, Ultimately, I think my Sakurai is obviously like primed up to challenge Miku at any point, pretty much, um, more than Chika is. And so I think if my Sakurai wins here, she could definitely get like the "Hey, I'm challenging Miku" bump, especially if she beats like Koki,
mm,
because I don't know. It's hard. My brain hurts right now. I'm not gonna lie.
okay.
Think about a lot of the continuous action in this. But I think that that Mirai Saku should retain.
Yes, I agree. And that is everything for Marigold. So it is time to
Yes,
turn our attention to the world of Stardom. Stardom
the Wonder Ring.
Stardom has had a lot of stuff happen outside of Stardom. So Momo Watanabe and Ruaka beat the Reiwa Ultimate Powers in Sendai Girls. That is the team of Dash Chizako and Hiroyo Matsumoto. That was a really, really good match. If you haven't seen it, I mean, Dash Chizako put
I
in a
still need to go
crazy
watch it.
performance. Dude, Dash was like
Da-
on her bullshit.
if Dash like cared, she would just be like one of the
Yeah.
best wrestlers of the
Oh,
past
dude.
decade.
Yeah.
like
She
a
was
top
into it.
5.
And the thing is, the hate stuff was really over with the crowd because they were like these invading dickheads. So they were like booing them and jeering them and getting really into Dash, like fighting back. It was probably the best and most effective hate has ever been. Just as
To
like
be
the
fair,
outside invaders.
I think Ruaka and Momo know the assignment pretty well.
Yes, definitely. Momo especially. I mean, she's
Yes.
insane in the role.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, Reiwa Ultimate Powers are a ridiculous tag team as well. They're one of the most consistent acts I think I've ever seen. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, definitely go out of your way to do so.
But
Um,
legitimately, like Dash is just good at everything, and it's very
oh yeah,
frustrating.
for sure.
Like, cause like she's one of the best tag wrestlers I've ever seen,
Hmm.
legitimately. She's one of the most fun hardcore match wrestlers, like plunder wrestlers,
Yes.
which is a hard thing to be very good at. And she also is just like a great singles wrestler who just doesn't do singles matches. Um,
I don't know.
so it's like, what the fuck? Like, like this is meant to be the best wrestler in the world.
It's a shame, but that is
Yeah.
Sendai for you. Speaking of Sendai, the two BMI 2000 challenge Team 200 kg for a Sendai Girls Tag Team Championship match. They have announced that. I think it's 27th of October, 17th of October. It is sometime
Mm,
this month.
yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
That
Uh,
show that it's on is pretty absurd. It also has Mako and Manami against Momo Momo Banana.
yeah, they have
Uh,
been teaming Miko with Nami.
I it might be Mako and someone else. I don't know, but it's just a great card. And BMI 2000 versus Team 200 kg is awesome because that was the match that BMI 2000 wanted when they created their team. Like
Oh,
that was the
that's
point.
cool.
Was was to fuck with you, who was in the tag league. They were like, "Where's your actual partner?" And then I was like, "I'll kill you." Um,
She
and
almost
they were
did.
like, "Well, because like BMI 2000 is a obvious rib on Team 200 kg."
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
where like I think they literally said that it's like we are also proud to be fat, just like they are, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like it was like a whole like that was like the bit is that it's like, and it was crazy, but yeah, so I'm super excited for that match. That match is fucking years in the making, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've always talked about how BMI 2000 is just like absurdly good, and
Yeah.
they work with each other better than they work in basically any other uh sphere. So I just wish they would do more,
I
and
think
I'm
Tora
excited
and
for that match.
Hashimoto minutes fascinates me. Like the idea of
Yes.
Natsuko Tora and Chiro Hashimoto clashing is just could be insane. So I'm really interested in that. What else was there? So Azumi is teaming with Danny Luna to take on Mina Shirakawa and Kanji on New Japan's Royal Quest show. Um, probably
Mm.
That's probably based off of Danny Luna being the one that Mina beat for the Rev Pro belts. So they'll probably do something there. Since Azumi was in England anyway to take on Kanji. That's honestly that sounds like a fun match. I know people are gonna go, oh, it's British wrestling, but Kanji is really good, and I think Danny Luna was one of the standouts of the UK scene before she got signed. So I think putting them with Mina and Azumi is a good pairing.
Yeah. I'm people. It's the UKC.
Respect Kanji. That's all I
No,
can
I
say.
think Kanji's solid.
I think she's great. Um,
I think there are two really good wrestlers in that match right now.
okay.
I'm kidding.
Um,
Actually, Danny Luna's very good too.
I like Danny Luna. Um,
That was just a Mina
there,
rib. Mina's fine.
I'm so numb to Mina Ribs. Scott called her
Yeah.
bad yesterday, and I didn't even like get mad at him. I was just like, I'm so done. Um, Aya
Mm.
Sakura was announced for a wave match that has already happened. Don't know the result of it, and it's not on the website, but she was used in wave.
Oh,
Um,
and the Sendai tournament is happening soon.
yes, and Aya is Aya also in that? She is.
Yes,
She is.
Aya and
Okay.
Rihanna are.
No, Jesus. Okay. So this is a tournament that Sendai Girls runs not every year, but recently they have run it every year. I think it's still called the Jaja Uma tournament. And it's basically a rookie tournament, and it has been really fun in the past. There's some interesting names in this one. There's a newcomer from America called Spike Nishimura that everybody is fascinated by. Um, There is Soy, who we will talk about on New Blood. There is hold on, I have the full lineup here.
There, there's
Um,
someone named Yuzuki that I'm like, I don't know who you are.
oh,
She's the
she's
only
from one of
person
the
that I actively
tiny
don't know.
local feds. Yeah. So
Hmm.
Rian is actually facing Spike. So that'll be an
Yes.
interesting match just to see what Spike Nishimura is about. Spike is obviously from Japan at birth, but has been living in America. I saw a promo and it's just a full American accent from the Japanese woman, which tickles me greatly. Um, Aya Sakura's opponent isn't decided. It will be either Soy or some girl who I don't actually know. Is this the
That's
Yuzuki?
Yuzuki. Yeah.
Yuzuki. Okay, so I imagine Soy wins that one because Yuzuki belongs to a tiny promotion, from what I can remember. And then if Rian does beat Spike, she gets to face Chi Chi in the next round. So pretty interesting. Um, that's on the 3rd, actually. That's in 2 days, so we'll be able to discuss that hopefully next week. I think that's all for Stardom Masters outside of Stardom. There's a lot of Sendai stuff. The wave thing was announced and then just happened straight away, and I think Aya Sakura's team won anyway. Um, and yeah, that's about it. I don't think there was more Diana. I think we did that last week with Momo and Umasaki. Yes.
Yeah, that already
Yeah.
happened, didn't it?
Did it? No, I don't. I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
When
No,
when
it
did
doesn't
Diana's
happen yet.
Korakuen
No,
happen?
no,
No,
no, no. It
isn't it the
happens.
17th or something?
Yeah,
They've said the
it should be the
17th for at
17th.
least 2 different
Yeah, I was
shows,
gonna
so
say
I
there's
don't
like
know.
is every
Um,
show on the 17th. I know
maybe.
no, it's later this month. I remember Momo being like, I was just in Diana, and I was just like, wait, we were, and then, but she meant like challenging Umasaki to a
Oh
match.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
That will happen later.
That is everything then from Stardom Masters outside of Stardom. They had a press conference earlier today. Sadly,
Oh,
they don't have a report.
Oz does start soon, or the Oz stuff is this month as
Yeah, I
well,
don't,
but
I don't, I
I
don't
don't
know
know when.
about Oz. So Saki Kashima is off the shows this weekend. She's being rested.
Where the heck
I-
is Saki?
what do you mean? Which
It's a
Saki?
lyric. It's a lyric in
Oh, okay.
the song.
She is being replaced by Nanami from Diana. Actually, speaking of Diana, God's Eye remembered that they have extra members and called in the
Nanami good.
cavalry. There was a press conference earlier today. They haven't put a report up on the website, and I think me go scrolling through Twitter and reading translations would be really bad audio. Tony Storm was pretty cracked out of her mind from what I seen. Tekla and Natsupoi proposed a stipulation that nobody translated, so I don't know if this is correct, but I think they said that the
Uh-oh.
loser of a tag match on the Korkan tomorrow, the losing team will be banned from ringside for Tekla versus Natsupoi. And so then you can obviously have Natsupoi get her uber babyface moment when she fights from behind and
Holy
upsets
fuck! I
all of
don't
his.
want to watch that match at all. That's crazy.
I don't know if
Um,
that's actually the stipulation or not, because obviously I don't speak Japanese, and I'm just working off of a translation. It
I did
does
see that
seem like
Tekla
it.
was saying that it's like hate isn't all evil. I was like, isn't that the entire point? Is
Yes,
like
yeah.
you
Okay,
name the
yeah. So
faction after
see,
the
because
most
they're doing an
purely
elimination match on Karkin, and so they did
negative.
say whoever loses the elimination match is banned from ringside. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen for Tekla and Natsupoi. They also did do the backstory for Tekla and Natsupoi, and they were like, "Oh yeah, well you turned on us," and I was really sad. And then I thought, but that was 2 years ago, and you've never like
And
mentioned it since.
there are
And
no
also,
two
you
DDM
yourself are
members in
evil
the
now.
same place anymore.
Yeah, like I totally get what they're doing, but I also think it's really inorganic. Like you cannot just drop that for the entire time and then go, "Oh, by the way, I hate that you turned on the group when I was
To be fair,
injured and everything was
this is how
falling apart."
most Cosmic Angels things have happened historically. I
That's true.
mean,
That's true.
like Natsupoi joining with Tam was like, hey, we used to hang out in Actress Girls for a couple months. Remember that?
Mm.
And now, and then just like that was it. Like that was the entire. And I mean, Mina and everybody at one point was just like, we used to be friends,
Yeah.
and that was the entire. Like, and it's like, oh, you were? I didn't know that. And it's like, yeah, nobody did. And it's like, okay, that's one way to build a match. Um, so that's just cosmic. That's just cosmic rules, not that kind.
Yeah.
The other kind.
It is
Um,
interesting though, because they keep talking about how they wrestled a similar style back then, and it is kind of like Tekla's going, "Oh, we're gonna wrestle. I'm gonna properly wrestle. I'm not gonna do the heel stuff." But then this is also Kara Okada era Stardom where they say one thing and then they swerve you. So I imagine she's going to pretend to wrestle properly and then she's not going to wrestle properly. Hazuki and Starlight Kid are basically talking about their match as an unofficial number one contenders match for the white belt. So don't know if that's actually going to happen, but Kid is basically talking about it a lot. And she's like, look, if I win, if I beat you, I'll get one step closer to the white belt. So it appears Hazuki is still in and around the white belt picture. But I don't know about that one. I think we'll discuss it in the preview.
Yeah.
Interesting that they're both kind of like, okay, well, if I beat you, I should get a white belt match. That part got cut from the press conference because the whole stream like died briefly. So I don't know fully what was said there. That's generally the gist of the press conference. They did.
Oh yeah,
I
and
will say they did try and fill in the gaps for some of the matches.
Mayu was like so confused. She's like, I don't watch AEW. What are you doing right now? What is happening?
Everything about Tony Storm has been used. Our poor icon, and she threw the shoe at Mayu, and Mayu was like, "Do I keep this now, or like what do I do
This
with
is
the shoe?"
mine. Like I need the other
Yeah,
shoe if it's gonna be mine.
yeah, it's incredible. But that's enough for the news bits. Let's get on to the review. Our first show to review was actually the Korakuen on the 28th. Stardom did 1,176 fans for this, which is a really good number. I think
Yeah,
1,200 for a tag title match at one point was unheard of. So they deserve a
especially
lot of
that one.
credit for this. Okay, all right, not too much. Um, we opened with Natsupoi, Ai Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori beating Azusa Inaba, Rina, and Konami when Natsupoi beat Azusa with the Ferial gift. And yeah, we enjoyed all the Rina Aya stuff, and obviously we'll review their title match after. And also Azusa Inaba, very good.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
what I was saying. Was that Natsupoi and Azusa did a lot of good stuff together.
all right, okay. Also, yeah, Natsupoi and Konami, I like that. I like that.
You
We then had Hanako beating Momo Kogo in just under 6 minutes for the egret. They're so obvious about being all in on Hanako. It is crazy. But yeah, I don't know. This was fine. Momo
absolutely fine.
Kogo singles matches and all of her matches have a real problem of her just being a big geek. So it's hard to really
Yeah, and it's a
care.
shame. Like she's not bad at wrestling.
No,
Like
she's
she's
a good
fine.
wrestler. She's a good wrestler. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. How am I supposed to care?
She's
She's gonna
never
lose.
once been treated as like as legitimate as like since the Azumi match, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hanako isn't like good enough to make me overlook that as well. There's some wrestlers who can get
Mm.
away with it, but not Hanako. But yeah, that was that. We then had a new idea for Stardom, a quartet three-way battle. So this is a 3 teams of 4. I saw the match graphic and I went, "What is this? What are we doing?" And then I saw it all and I went, "Okay, I understand." In this match, Hina, Rani Agami, Lady C, and Tomoka Inaba of God's Eye beat Starlight Kid, Suzu Suzuki, Mei Sarah, and Miyu Amasaki. Hina obviously got a win over Miyu Amasaki because they were wrestling on the New Blood show. The other team was Maika, Xena, Wakasukiyama, and Rian. And this was fine. I don't know. I think everybody was adjusting to the 4 versus 4 versus 4 format, and they were just kind of okay.
Yeah, that was good. I liked most of it. I thought Miyu did a good job. Um, she was
Miyu
kind of the
always
through
does a good
line.
job. Miyu
Yeah,
rocks.
that's true. Hina did good as well.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, despite there being 17 people in this match, it was a good preview for the two like lowest ranking members of two of the teams.
That is totally on brand. Um, our next match then, Tam Nakano, Shiori Ano, and Sayaka Kurara beat Natsuko Tora, Saya Kamatani, and Rocka of Hate when Sayaka Kurara got a huge upset over Saya Kamatani, pinning her with a jackknife roll-up in just under 11 minutes, after some assistance, of course, from Tam and Shiori Ano. Um, the
I only
crowd, in
watched the last 30
fairness,
seconds,
that's fair. The
but
crowd
it was
absolutely
great.
popped big. They
Yeah.
went crazy for the finish. You know how I feel about Siri Ano and Saya Kamatani minutes. I thought they did some good stuff. I thought the finishing stretch where Saya Kamatani was working over a very beaten up Carrara was interesting. And yeah, I thought the finish was really well done. They did use it to set up a pay-per-view match where Kamatani is obviously going to get her win back, but it's out of left field. I
Them
like it.
giving Saya Kamatani singles matches on every pay per view kind of sucks. But
Oh, they love her. Like that's how I know. Like Hanako getting
yeah,
singles matches, Saika Matani getting singles matches. Like
all the
these are
stars in 2024, Hanako
yeah.
and Saya Kamatani. Um,
Like how long do they wait before Saika is world champ?
oh, she's
Is it
probably
just
just
3
winning
months,
it.
2 months? Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's just winning it. Like I thought, oh no, they gotta keep it on Tam, which I think they should. I think Tam's doing like the best work in 5 years that she's done, pretty much.
Tam and Suzu
This
has
year,
completely changed our lives. Like
yeah,
they're
it's
so good
great. Like
together. We're
they're
like, I
doing
love
great stuff
these two.
together.
Suzu is
I
back.
was going to watch like one of the preview tags from last week, and I ended up just watching all of them because they were all
Yeah.
good,
Oh, they're
except for
crazy.
the Tekla one. I still thought that match was like fine. Like it was, I kind of skipped here and there, but I thought every time Tam and Suzu have interacted, it's been great.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, man, of course, like Tam like gets me on the road, and she's just gonna lose it to heel Saya Kamatani. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Um, but
Tam and
yeah, I
Suzu's
love
presser was funny as well. I didn't bring it up, but Suzu
yes.
was back to being very upset and pouting the entire time.
And Tam's like, "What? Do you want me to apologize? I'm not gonna do that, but do you want me to? I'm sure that wouldn't make you feel better, so I'm not going to apologize." And Susan's like, "I mean, you could have, like, like
Yeah.
I don't know, you're just
Tam
kind
was
of an
throwing
asshole."
shade though. She was like, I was at the bottom and I crawled my way back up to the world championship. And that's why you're not me. That's why you
Yeah.
couldn't win it
Okay.
last year. And I was like, oh, girl.
Okay.
Tam, Tam,
Okay.
Tam is so in her bag. She's like, I lost every GP match and now I'm the champion. Do you know how hard I had to fight? That's her. She's gonna pull that
See,
out for years. She's
and
never letting
and that's
anybody live that down.
and like it's badass in theory, but then when you think about it for 10 seconds, it's like, wait, that's not
It is insanely
that's not
badass.
like
I'm sorry. It
that's
is
not
insanely.
cool.
No, it is incredibly cool. Ace babyface syndrome is the best shit. I'm so sorry. Tara Okada, I don't know why I ever doubted you, you beautiful man. Our next match was Hazuki
She couldn't
and
even do it alone,
Hanan.
by the way. But oh,
Was
I
it?
never got to say it. I love Karara and Aya getting upsets. I think that's
Oh
like the
yeah.
biggest pops you hear in Stardom these
Oh
days.
for sure, yeah. People love Cosmic Angels. Um Koguma got the win for her team in this one, right? It was Koguma and Saida versus
Hmm.
Hazuki and Hanan.
Stars
Koguma got the
Animal
win.
style.
Yes. Koguma got the win over Hazuki in 18 minutes with a diving body press. They did the whole Hazuki's real form came back to life after being sad for a few weeks. And it was her friends through the power of friendship and also beating the shit out of her that brought it out. And Koguma got the win over her to be like, hey, listen, you got to get your shit back together. Um, yeah, I thought it was
Bro,
nice. They worked so snug. I was like, oh,
yes.
nobody beats you up in Joshi like your best friends.
Koguma is the Sands of Stardom. Nobody
The
just it's just that
stands of stardom.
nobody's done it's like Ness. Nobody's done a genocide run yet. Um so like we don't really see it, but like she's just like randomly like the most intimidating human being uh when she wants to be. Like there was a
She is
point
an
where
absolute
she just
genius.
where she knocked Hazuki onto the ground and she just stood there and looked at her like she was dirt. And I was like, "Oh, oh,
Bet you
that
did.
like it gave me a chill, bro." Like, like that's what I mean. She's like Sans from fucking Undertale. Um, but yeah, I thought this match ruled outside of Koguma being Sans. Um, who is more Sans, Ness or Koguma? That's the question. That's what people are asking. Um, but yeah, I like both these teams. I think Animal Style is really cool together. We don't usually get to see them much, but they work super well together. Um, two just genuine workhorses that never get their due, and then Hana and Hazuki are two other workhorses that sometimes get their due, just not really. Um, and yeah, I thought this was super fun. And I will say, I was kind of negative on the story last week, but I like where it ended up. I like that Suzuki was just kind of like, you know what, I just needed my friends to kind of like slap some sense into me, and I needed Starlight Kid to open her goddamn mouth so I could fucking beat the
I
fuck
loved
out of her.
Hazuki afterwards being like, Starlight
Um,
Kid, stay in the back. Do not get out here. I
yeah,
hate you. I will fight you. Do not stand in this ring with
in
me
there
or
was a
else.
there was an interview where in in fucking Tokyo Sports, she did an interview and she was like, yeah, I've been having a hard time. I really hated wrestling, just talking about. And at the end, she's like, I think I just need to you know get get my mind straight and really just get back at it. And they ask her about Starlight Kid, and she's like, "Who?" Yeah, I don't think about her. Um, she's like, "Oh, she says something." Yeah, no, I don't care. And I just love that. Like, I appreciate that story. That's where they went with it. Is like, is like this like
I
really like
also
dire
complained about it.
situation. Just
I
being
will. I
friendship,
will.
the power of friendship, and the power of fucking hating Starlight Kid.
Yeah, I will take the L because I was also like, why does Starlight Kid care about Hazuki when Hazuki hates her? But it turns out she also just really despises Hazuki. So I like that they've kept that continuity of like, I hate you.
Yeah,
Do not come into my zone. I hate you. Um. So yeah, I appreciate that. That is very good. Maybe this Taro guy is onto something. Maybe he's not that bad.
I did like this
Um.
matchup. Hey, tag team wrestling has always been what kind of saved Stardom this
Yeah.
year. And this match, not the tag title match, was what I needed.
Speaking of tag matches, we had a preview tag when Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa beat Azumi and Mayu Iwatani. Tony got the win over Azumi with a Storm Zero in
I forgot I
13 and a
wrote something
half
in my notes
minutes.
and it just popped me.
Okay. You want
I
to say
I
it before I review the
I
match?
yeah, it says Mina Shirakawa is in get her shit mode, get her shit in mode, parentheses derogatory. And I thought myself sometimes.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Um, I thought Tony was interesting in this one.
Tony was solid.
She's such a different wrestler than when she was last in Stardom, and I don't think I had really acknowledged it. She used to be fully Brit rest pilled, where it was like slow techers to build up to the finishing stretch, and it was really boring. But now she's adding all the like the American wrestling isms, so she's like a much larger personality in the ring, and her moves are a lot more emphatic, and she moves between everything a lot quicker than she used to. So I'm really interested in seeing how this version of Tony Storm does in a big match with Mayu Iwatani. I think I trust this version a lot more than the old version of Tony to deliver with Mayu. And I thought she looked very capable here.
Yeah, she looks solid. Mayu and Izumi's a fun tag team. Like I think that's what kind of
Yeah,
I took out. This was that. It's like, man, that's one of those teams that you just kind of want to see more of, because they just work a fun style together. Uh,
sure.
this was essentially. I love how every year for Izumi's like birthday slash anniversary, she just gets to like hang out with Mayu. Um,
And lose.
like that's her present. Yeah, and lose obviously in Korakuen. But yeah, so I thought this was fun. I didn't think it was anything like great. I thought, you know, there was a major disparis,
Disparity?
disparity. There's no
Yes.
C. Disparity between Mina and Tony and Izumi and Mayu. I felt like one was just kind of wrestling circles around the other. Even though
Mhm.
in key moments I thought Tony did well, and in key moments I thought Mina did well as well.
Okay,
I just felt like it was just like, oh, this is the team that's winning should not be winning from a merit
that's fair.
standpoint.
I do like that Mina and Tony are friends, even though Aya previously came between them. This isn't
Yeah,
picking
they're kind of
sides.
like
She loves
working
them
that.
both. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's good.
Mina
Tony called
Mina's
Mayu a
just
bitch. In the post, it literally says, Mayu Utani is a bitch. Mayu Utani is an idiot. I'll be the new champion. That's crazy. Oh, I love this. She's so funny.
wait. Does it?
Um,
Oh, I need to see this.
yeah, it's like in their under the video. Let's scroll to the end though. It literally straight up says Mayu
Ah,
Utani is a bitch. It's crazy. Mayu did say that when she retains, she will give Azumi a title shot as well. So that's kind of been in the
yes.
works. I'd imagine they're just going to save that for crossover at this stage because that's the next big
Yeah.
show. Unless it's what I'm forgetting. Do they run Nagoya or Osaka or something in November? I don't know, but we'll see. The main event, anyway, of this show was the Goddess of Stardom Championship match. Kon Watanabe and Tekla beat Siri and Saki Kashima in 14 minutes when Momo hit the Peach Sunrise on Saki. Um, I thought they built this match really well to the key near fall, which was Saki like ducking the Momo kick that took Tekla out and then getting the revival in.
Yeah.
And the crowd was fully ready to pop for a Saki Kashima upset. I do think that the whole entire runtime was very similar to what we have said about God's Eye versus Hate so far, in that there's just such a big disparity between Siri and her teammates, it's very difficult to believe in anything unless Yuri's in the ring. 'Cause she's really the only one that ever combats somebody like Momo. For the rest of the time, it is just Saki getting the shit beat out of her, unless she can get a revival out of nowhere. So I give them credit for building to that big near fall, but it didn't really save the match. It just kind of was like, oh, that's neat. I get what they were going for, but I don't know. It was all right.
Um, Tekla did the oh you MMA fight. I'm a get into mount. How about we get into mount joke at the beginning of the match, and she
Hmm.
did it so insufferably, and Shuri didn't even understand what her point was, like what she was trying to get at, and then she's got back up, and then I paused it, and I was like, I need to take a minute. Um, yeah, I didn't like this match. I thought this match
Okay.
was like fine. I felt like Momo and Shuri exchanges are starting to piss me off because they're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No, the
And
sprinkle
they are
in is a
usually
treat, and then they're like, that's it.
the only good thing in these God's Eye versus Hate matches, which I would argue are the worst things you can book in Stardom right now, is God's Eye versus
Yeah.
Hate. I just think it's such a bland story and such a uninteresting pairing. You know, I like a lot of the members of God's Eye. I like some of the members of Hate. I just feel like they actively are worse when they are paired against each other, and it really
Yeah.
frustrates me when it's like, oh, but we have Shuri and Momo. We have the best combination in the company. Don't forget that. You get this for 40 seconds, then you get more of the other bullshit you don't like. And that just really annoyed me because it was legitimately like a minute of just them doing cool shit and then getting out and not coming back in the ring. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's great. Um, yeah, no, I
Desperate
didn't
need
like
Ami
this.
Sourei back somehow. I'm still shocked.
Surprisingly, yes. Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe
she's
Nanami will spend the
walking.
time.
She's walking now,
She's
which is
walking.
good.
That's great. Okay. Um,
Walking without
but that
a
was that
big ass
Korakuen.
brace.
The Korakuen was fine. Like it wasn't the worst thing
Mm,
in the world. There was some like two or three good
no,
matches, and everything else was fine for what it was. You know, good stuff. Um, then we had New Blood on the 29th of September. They made a last minute decision to stream this for free on YouTube. It was meant to be on Stardom World, and then 2 hours before the show, they were like, "Oh, nah, YouTube one."
which I liked
Um,
because it meant I got to watch it in bed this morning.
yeah, no, YouTube. I do appreciate the that. Obviously the video player is so much better than Stardom World. It's just a lot easier. And this was in the Saitama Japan Pavilion Hall A, specifically Hall A, and they did
Saitama.
326 fans for this, which I think is pretty much in line with what New Blood was doing. It had started to dip, but they have got it back up recently. The New Bloods,
Yeah, I
so
mean, that's a good number for Saitama and for New Blood.
yeah, definitely. Considering they only gave away one match, really, like it was just Rian versus Zaya. There was nothing else huge. I think that's a big feather in their cap. Um, Yeah, we opened with Tomoka Inaba beating Rian in 9 minutes with a face lock. This was all right. I think Rian works better with the more fast paced wrestlers, and Tomoka Inaba is not that. She's just kind of stretch you and kick you. And in her comebacks, I thought she was fine, but I definitely think the pacing didn't fit Rian all that much.
I didn't get the chance to watch this one,
Yeah, you skipped
unfortunately.
out on this one. You were like, "This is too long," and I said, "That's fair."
Yeah,
Um,
I was like skipping through. I was like, damn, this is still going.
Yeah, it
That's
did. I
crazy.
think Tomoka, it was one of those Tomoka matches where she was just in half mode, and you're like, all right, that's fine, I guess. Um, then it's Sayaka
Yeah,
Kurara beating,
9 minutes. Did not need 9 minutes.
no, for sure. Sayaka Kurara beat Soy in 7.5 minutes with the Tokimeki Cutter. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Um, This was
I
also
liked it.
okay. Yeah, I think Soy, I know I've memed Soy to death, but she actually looks a lot different than when she debuted. I think it was a lot more memeable at first, but she's slimmed down. She's like got something cool going on with her hair. I think the bullet looks awesome. So she's like less of a meme now and more of just a hype beast. And I love the name Soy. I think for as long as she is named Soy, I will be her number one fan. But I think Sayaka Kara was just a better wrestler than her here, and she just won, and it was okay.
Yeah, I had fun with it. First time seeing Soy, personally, and it was fun. You know,
Yeah,
she was
Soy
solid.
is an experience.
Yeah.
It is.
I think for being like a few months in, she's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
for
given
sure.
that
The
she
Evo girls
hasn't
are all
wrestled.
like really strong. I haven't seen Miuna yet, but I'm gonna assume she's
Mm.
fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen her either.
In fairness, watching Evo Girls is a task because either the video or the audio is always broken, and I'm
Yeah,
just like, I'm not bothered.
beauty of
Yeah,
indie wrestling.
big time. We then had Lady C and Rani Yagami beating Rocca and Azusa Inaba in 10 minutes. Lady C got the win over Azusa with the reverse Oklahoma Stampede.
Oh yeah,
I
she
thought
does the Rochambeau.
she does. I thought this was good. I thought the Rana Azusa stuff was pretty great. And that was really all you need. Rana and Azusa kicking ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, Lady C winning. I'm here
I'm
for it.
happy
I
to
like
see
Lady
Lady
C
C
dubs.
win. Yeah.
Yeah. What was after that? Oh, Hanako beat Echika Miyabi in 8.5 minutes with the egret. It was interesting to see her put the egret on somebody so tall because they couldn't
Yeah.
dangle, so it's kind of like holding
I
Echika.
thought that was kind of cool. I thought that this was like a cool mess, if that makes
Match.
sense. Mess of a match. Like it was
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
messy
Yeah, because the
and it was just kind of
Echika
like clunky, but I liked it.
Ichika Queen, I love you, but very awkward pro wrestler.
Yes.
Is good at a lot of stuff, but is really not there yet. Just flow wise, which is fair because she has taken like 8 months off to get surgery and stuff, so she is just back, and she only wrestles a handful of times for PPP Tokyo. Yeah, this was a bit awkward, but like when they did stuff, it was enjoyable, you know. And I didn't realize how tall Hanako was, and I know this is going to sound really stupid. I know Hanako is tall, but it really
Mhm.
puts it into perspective when she is taller than the trans woman. Because trans
Yeah.
women are awful. They're awful tall, man. Like they're big. So for Hanako to just be like a full forehead taller than Echiko, I was like, oh, Hanako is big. Wow.
I was also thinking that is Echika the first trans woman to wrestle in Stardom, or am I just completely forgetting someone?
Um, I would assume yes, because I don't know any other ones.
Because like, yeah, I know Venny hasn't and Nyla hasn't, and those are the two most notable trans
Yeah, like
women
it would
in
have to be one of
wrestling. I would
the
say
like
that have wrestled in
two
Japan.
2010 indies that I would have missed. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
Echika is probably the first.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I thought this match was like clunky in like a fun way. It wasn't good. Like it wasn't like a actively good match by any means. But I thought like it was cool to see Hanako do something different than just wrestle someone small, which is what she just always does.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was a nice change of pace for her. And I think if Echika was to keep wrestling, I think it's a match they could revisit and, and it would go a lot smoother. I think it would still
Mm,
be enjoyable.
yeah.
Um, yeah, good win for Hanako. We then went on to a unofficial number one contenders match. Miyu Amasaki beats Hina in 10.5 minutes with the Tensei. This was actually a lot of Hina. She was like
I thought this was very
judo
good.
tossing and throwing Kevin around and like really
She got
dominating
the
the
big
match.
ending.
And then Kevin just fired back up in the way Miyu Amasaki does and hit the slick rope run DDT and hit the Tensei for the win. And I was like, this is just really solid basic pro wrestling, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a lot of fun. I've liked most of what Mia's done recently,
Yeah.
and I think Hina is also deeply underrated because she just has a really good foundation and a good just kind of move set to work around. And I thought this was, like I said, a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Like I said, I watched this all this morning, so I was kind of like, in and out, like looking at my phone and whatnot. And this was the match that like really like made me put down my phone, lock in, and be like, yeah, they're really cooking here. And yeah, I was very proud of them. I was very happy for what they were able to accomplish here. It was a lot of fun.
All right. We then went on to the main event in a future Stardom Championship match. Rina defended against Aya Sakura in just under 15 minutes with the Hydrangea. Um, Aya Sakura debuted some new gear. It is blue and it's basically Sayaka Carrara colors. Like it's basically just that color
Well, no,
scheme.
it's isn't it? It just looks like Miyu's old gear
That too. That's
or
why I think
current gear.
it's nice
Uh,
gear, but
no, old gear,
it's nice gear, but
reminiscent
it's
of everything else.
so like copycat of everybody
Yeah.
else's gear. As I've said this months ago, the choker around the neck and the straps coming out of it is so basic. Please, for the love of God, get a different idea. And this looks like her full-time gear. She wore it in Wave, which is kind of upsetting because I liked the white gear she had. I thought it made her look, it made her stand out.
As did I.
I think it looked a lot different. So while I get it, this gear is nice. It is just very basic compared to the rest of the roster. But gear aside, I thought this was a good match. I thought Rena did what she does, you know, as she has done, and it was kind of up to Aya Sakura to try stuff, and she was showing like she had a lot of new stuff in her arsenal. She went for like a spinny kick at the end, and she had a few different kick variants and a few different submissions to throw out there, and it was just kind of up to Rian, or not Rian, Rena, to just like figure that out and find a way to retain again. And look, we've watched a lot of arena matches. We kind of know what she's about at this stage. She is a really good pro wrestler. Like she's good at what she does. Um, and I think it was just Aya Sakura that made made this a standout match by kind of bringing all this new stuff to the table.
Yeah, I really like this match, though I do think that like I think Rena's kind of outgrowing the future uh, style, I guess.
Yeah,
Like I
I
think that
think
like
Miyu has to beat her for it. It's time to
yeah,
kind of move
cuz I
on.
feel like Rena is like wrestling these like matches that fit into like a white belt match and it's the future match. I was watching, I was like, like this is a good match, but I don't really want this to be the future match anymore. Like does that make sense? Where I was like I kind of just want a different style here because Rena has figured it out and has just been kind of just constantly doing it. I mean, I think that there's more room for her to grow in a higher level than the future title, and I think there is another style that the future title can kind of possess that I would prefer right now for someone like Aya Sakura. You know what I mean? I think the Miyu versus Aya Sakura title match sounds very fun and very, energetic. And I feel like Rina has really found her spot in the, slower built up matches. And I don't know if that lended itself as well to Aya as a different style could have, though it
Yeah,
was still very good, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I think there's like um you can do Miyu Amasaki and then Carrara. I think that would be fun, and Rana could get another shot at it. There was also some new rookies spotted ringside over the past week. So
Mm.
I think if you want them to get an early future match, I think Miyu Masaki is a safe bet to kind of guide them through it. So I think maybe it is time to just kind of move the belt off of Rena, but we have kind of been saying that for the last 3 or 4 defenses. So I don't know.
I
There,
still think Hina should have won it, but that's just
yeah.
me.
Um, there are though 2 shows to preview. The first one, I don't think we're going to dive into it because it will have happened by the time this goes up. I legitimately, this caught me like blindsided. It is Stardom Nighter and Corkin, Wednesday, the 2nd of October. The main stuff here is a Tam Suzu preview tag with Suzu is teaming with Azumi and Tam is teaming with Aya Sakura, so that should be pretty good. I
Like that.
imagine the Neo Genesis team will win, and Suzu gets the she stands tall ahead of the title match. There's another preview tag. Rina and Miyu Amasaki lead 2 teams in a trios match with the Azusa or the Inaba sisters on either side of the equation. Could definitely see something like Miyu beating Rina if she's going to lose, or Rina can like get win with the Pink Devil or something, and then
Yeah, I could see
Miyu
that.
can win. Momo and Momo wrestle in a singles match, so Watanabe is going to beat up poor Kogo.
Mhm.
Um, Eye is thankfully away from hate for once, but I don't think we need to dive into that. FWC is back, and they're taking on Starlight Kid and May Sarah. That is a
Fuck
heater and
yeah,
a
man.
half. Yeah.
This is what it's about, man. Just give me Neo Genesis tags and I'm rocking, man. Like the rest of this
Remember I
card,
said this card was good,
I
and you
don't
were like,
care.
"No, no, it's not," and I was like, "Well, it is."
Well, there are
Um,
3 good matches,
yeah, still, that's good. Then there's
and one
the
of
four
them
and
features
four
Tony Storm.
elimination tag: Natsupoi, Ano, Unimon, and Kurara against Tora, Kamatani, Tekla, and Konami. This is the one that they've said like the losing unit is banned from ringside, as far as I'm aware. So I think we can all agree Hate is going to win, and Natsupoi is going to have to fight an uphill battle. And then there's a Mayu and Tony preview tag.
Also
I
sounds pretty
imagine
fun.
something like Saida takes a pin there. maybe to Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say probably to Tony. I mean, Tony just pinned fucking Azumi.
Yeah, could do. Then obviously the big show is on the 5th of.
Well,
I knew you were gonna do that. This is Stardom Nagoya Golden Fight in Aichi Dolphins Arena. There's no sections sold out as of now for this show, but I do think it's a big venue, so it's gonna happen. Ark can look to be moving okay as well. It is that Niter gimmick, so I think there's gonna be a boost. So they're doing a high-speed battle royal, but it's on the pre-show, which I think is weird. Like this is a dark match. It is Koguma.
also two high-speed wrestlers, like wrestlers who have ever
Yeah, but
wrestled
that's
at high
that's
speed.
fine. I don't mind that. Koguma, Unamon, Hina, Momokogo, and Ran Yagami. So
I think really Hina is just the one that doesn't make much sense for this, but also
yeah.
it's
I
okay.
I can see a world where Momokogo just gets it just to fill out the slate, but I would like Koguma,
I
obviously.
think
I
Koguma
mean,
probably should win it.
Koguma and Mei Sarah sounds crazy, but I don't know
Yeah,
whether they do it. But hopefully.
I feel like
Um,
that's the match you should be like leading towards
oh, of
right
course,
now
yeah. Maybe in a three-way, get
for the
Xena in
high
there.
speed.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I'd be down with that.
We then kick off the actual show with a four-way tag battle. It's Mei Sarah and Azumi taking on Siri and Lady C, Suri Ano and Aya Sakura, and then Hanan and Saida. Oh, this is hoops. Oh my god, I didn't realize. This is some
Yeah,
good stuff. I don't know who wins, honestly. Could be anyone.
really.
Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say really
yeah,
anyone can.
like Ano could win. They might give Siri a win. Who
Could give
crazy.
Hanan a win.
Um, yeah, mm, it's interesting. Yeah.
Azumi May, yeah,
Well, I
Azumi.
wonder. Have got back to the basics of like somebody wins and then challenges later in the
Yeah.
show. Who's in line for either of the two belts?
Well, it wouldn't be this match. It would be the next one, or not the next one. Well, it would be the next two.
Yeah, but then, well, I don't think Saya challenges yet. It's only October.
Yeah, she's challenged. Oh yeah, she's challenged in December.
Who beat? Well, everybody beat Tam in the GP.
It would be Shuri, but I don't think Shuri has anybody to beat in this
Suri
match. That would.
Tam is one that's kind of protected, I guess. They
Yeah.
could do that on pay-per-view. Yeah, maybe Siri. Maybe Siri wins and challenges Tam after the main event. I think that'd be fun. Saya Kamatani takes on Sayaka Kurara. That is Saya getting her win back. I assume she will have a very dominant win. I think she's gonna like brutalize the poor girl.
Yeah.
Um, then an unofficial number one contenders match for the white belt. Hazuki takes on Starlight Kid.
This is the
Um,
real.
I thought Starlight Kid would be the year-end challenger. I thought she might take it from Natsupoi, but they seem to be going in a different direction, and I could see them.
Looking like Hanan.
I could see them padding it out with Kid and Natsupoi, considering they have an established rivalry.
Yeah, I think Kid wins this. Especially considering Hazuki lost to Koguma in that tag match. It's like
Yeah. Now, in saying
they're
that,
not
they could do a
boosting her
6-week
back up.
turnaround with Hazuki, like they did with Siri Ano, and Hazuki could simply win, and I wouldn't be shocked. But I think Starlight Kid and Natsupoi is a match that I
Plus,
have expected them to do.
Starlight Kid is the only one who's like, yeah, this is a number one contenders match. I don't think I
Yeah,
think if Hazuki wins it, it doesn't necessarily mean she challenges Natsupoi again.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I think this is Starlight Kid being like, if I win this match, I'm going to challenge Natsupoi. And
Just
if
so
Hazuki
Starlight Kid
wins,
of her.
I'm going to
Honestly.
not challenge Natsupoi for a couple months. So it really could go either way. Because it's pretty much just a number one contenders match for Starlight Kid.
That's fair.
Like
We'll get into the
I
meat of
don't
the
even
card.
if Hazuki wins, I don't think
We'll get
they're
into the
gonna do
meat of the
that.
card in a second. I just want to take one last breather before we go on.
Very good.
So our next match, then, we're getting into the real spicy stuff on this card. Is Enex's V versus the Alliance of Hate and the Evil Alliance. That is great wording from me. We have Micah, Mina
Kokuaku
Shirakawa,
Dome.
Xena, Wakasukiyama, Hanako, and Rian versus Dump Matsumoto, Zap, Atsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Raka. So this is one of many companies attempting to get in on the Dump Matsumoto bump. Obviously, the Queen of Villains has released, and I don't know. There's no way to track interest in pro wrestling, but the Marvelous Shinkiba show the other day sounded and looked a lot more full than usual.
It's
Obviously,
also
Marvelous.
still the number one Japanese thing on Netflix to
That's
this day.
that's awesome, yeah. So I know like they seem to have gotten an increase of fans. Like and Marvelous doesn't announce numbers, obviously, so it's hard to track that. I'm just going off of anecdotal stuff there.
At the
And
very least, they have the entire roster or the entire cast who now love Marvelous Pro Wrestling.
yeah, pretty
Um,
much. Um,
the Devil Masami actress was like, I cried watching the protest. I was like, damn, you should take one.
I don't know who was yelling very loudly for Iroha during the main event. But yeah, so I think there is a Dump Matsumoto bump people are trying to get. I know she's on the Oz Academy Yokohama Budokan show. She's now on this one. It's a smart idea. I think there is. Why not go for that Dump Matsumoto leverage? Like, if
Mhm.
there's a chance to get people interested, go for it. Especially, I'd imagine that show is appealing to young people. I don't know the demographics of Netflix in Japan, but I know mostly young adults use Netflix. So I imagine it's the same there. So, get her in, see what she can do, introduce people to your big heel faction and your top babyface in Micah. Well, not your top babyface, your number 2 babyface in Micah. Um, I'd imagine that the evil team wins. I don't know how you eliminate Dump. Quite frankly, it's an
Is
elimination
this is
match.
this an elimination? Ay,
I think
Dios
so.
mío.
I think it was announced initially as elimination. It didn't say it on the website,
Yeah, I
but I
have a
do
feeling
think
that
so.
Dump and Natsuko are probably gonna survive,
Yeah, sure.
and they're just gonna eliminate the rest.
Let's hope they get the Gokwaku music though. That was really cool last time.
That'd be cool.
Um,
Yeah,
I like it.
hope they all wear the Gokuaku shirts and whatnot.
Oh, they should. Oh
Um,
yeah, let's go all in.
yeah, I mean, you know, this
I
isn't a
think
good match on paper,
it's
but
a
it is
neat match though.
cool. It's cool to see Dump and even
Yeah,
Zap. I know I'm the only one
I
who,
don't hate
I,
Zap.
I
I think she's
I
very
still like
mobile.
I still like Watanabe. I think she still works, and she's a very good heel. Like I think that's the thing. Like people got tired of her in Marvelous, but I'm just like, I don't know. She works well as Zap
Yeah,
in
I
this
think
day
it's
and
neat.
age.
I think they do the
Um,
job because it's a part
yeah,
time thing. You only see it every now and again.
exactly. So
So
I'll appreciate the novelty, but also it's like outside of the novelty, this match is very uninteresting to me.
that's
Uh,
fair.
I mean, like, cause like just like on paper, it just isn't very good, and it's
Okay.
not like Dump Matsumoto is gonna make this a 5-star classic.
Well,
Uh,
you never know. She might pull it out of the
for as
bag.
much as I love her, yeah.
Um, and next up is the IWGP Women's Championship match. Mayu Utani defends against Timeless Tony Storm. Mayu is definitely going to retain.
I
Um,
don't know. There's definitely a possibility that Tony Storm wins.
I don't think so. I think Tony's losing because she is also wrestling La Catalina for the CMLL Universal Belt or something. It's like an international
She's not.
thing.
I don't think it's
Is
for
that
the
a
belt.
title? Is it not? Oh,
No, I think that's why people are like, oh, Tony might be defending the IWGP belt against Catalina,
no, I
and they
wouldn't say so.
they showed their
But that
hand to her, but
complicates things well when she comes back because she's gonna go after Mariah, so she'd have 2 belts then. So
Mariah. I don't think Mariah's gonna have the belt by the time Tony gets back.
I think she will. I think they're gonna have her lose, and it's gonna be like, oh, she lost her mind because Mariah is still inside her head, and it'll probably happen in CMLL as well. She'll probably lose to Catalina, and they can just play it off as she's deranged now.
I don't know. I think there's definitely more to fear than you're
I
letting
think if
on.
they're
But
gonna
also, I
switch
don't
it, they
think that
do it
she's
at
gonna be coming
crossover.
back to Japan that often. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's true. Like if they're gonna switch
I
it, it
think
would be
that's the one thing.
crossover or something. So that's the only reason I have Mayu retaining. But who knows? We're gonna have a future
Above it.
Stardom Championship match again. Who knows? But I feel like Miyo Masaki should be winning at this stage. I think Rina has done everything you can do with this belt. This is literally her repeating challengers at this stage. Um,
Yeah, and I Starlight Kid kind of like set it into motion that she wants everybody in Neo Genesis to get a belt, and I think giving
okay.
Miyu the future belt is like a cool way to kind of like further that goal.
Yeah,
Suzu
I
obviously
think
isn't
I
winning
think
the
she'll
red
be a
belt,
good champion
but
as well. She's a really good wrestler.
yeah.
She can really elevate anybody she's in there with. I think
Plus,
she can
she
be
can't
trusted.
hold it for like a year and a half like Rena can.
Yeah, yeah, like she can go up
She
to
can only
V5 or
hand it
something.
for what 5-6 months,
Mm, definitely, I think there's
which is
there's a
sad.
lot more to a Miu win, but who knows?
I
We'll
agree.
see. In the Wonder of Stardom Championship match, then Natsupoi defends against Tekla. As we said, this is likely with Cosmic Angels banned from ringside, and obviously that is important because Tam Nakano beat Natsuko Tora because Cosmic Angels was able to intervene and help
And
her out.
also, it's important because they are active mat thumpers. So
Shit,
they
yeah.
Cosmic Angels, and this is true. Two of the worst Tam matches have been ones with no seconds to rally up the crowd behind Tam,
Okay.
because that's like most of what Tam is, is like having the crowd behind her. Natsupoi, I think, is better without having a crowd that cares, but I'm looking at the other blonde one, and
Yeah,
I'm looking
see,
at that maybe being a problem.
they've gone a bit heavy-handed with all of
It's
the
also
stuff.
Nagoya.
It is Nagoya. They have, Tekla being like we wrestle sort of similar styles. Hate isn't all that bad. Banning Cosmic Angels from ringside. It all just looks like they're gonna lean fully into Tekla being a heel. She's teasing wrestling normally, and they have kind of in the pre-show tags or the preview tags, they have wrestled kind of an older Tekla style. But I do feel like that almost might be a red herring for her to just go full heel here. Um, I think that will fully depend on the crowd. I think Natsupoi can do really well as a babyface against the onslaught of heels, but it will require a Nagoya crowd that is alive to make it work. And I don't trust Nagoya crowds, quite frankly. And I don't know. I don't know if Hate has that in them, especially with Tekla. I don't know if she has that cachet with
Yeah.
the audience. Because if this was like Natsuko Tora, you'd be like, okay, I fear for Natsupoi. But it's Tekla,
Yeah.
Or if this is
Even
Momo
if it was
Watanabe,
Momo,
yeah,
yeah.
Momo Watanabe, Konami, it's like they might like rip her fucking arm off with nobody to help. But this is Tekla, so I don't know. There's a world where they play up all of the drama and the backstory between them, and they just like hit each other. But I'm not getting my hopes up, so I don't know what to expect in this match. But I imagine Natsupoi ends up retaining anyway. She's gonna have her big uber baby face come back and upset the heels.
Yeah, I'm willing to be wrong, but I just don't see a way in which this match is like good.
Yeah. Now there is a
Like,
world where Taro does what
especially
he
not
wants
actively good.
and
You know what I
Hate
mean? Like it
loses.
could be solid, but I just
Yeah.
don't think it. Yeah.
Like there is a world where Taro does what he wants and Hate loses at the Korakuen, and then Tekla is like forced to wrestle properly on her own, which I think would be really interesting, but
That would be
I
more
don't know for
interesting.
sure.
Uh yeah.
I think his love of heels kind of dictates that they would go the direction of the big heel babyface moment.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
and then our main event is the World of Stardom Championship match. Tam Nakano defends against Suzu Suzuki. I don't see a world in where Suzu
They both have
wins.
death glares.
They
Like they're
do.
both
They're
like
not
staring
happy.
fucking holes through the person looking at the screen on this promo picture.
Yes, very much so. I think their preview tags have been exceptional. I think the chemistry is there. I think Suzu is doing some of her best work in a while. Um, I probably won't set the bar too high because obviously changing from tags to a singles match is completely different. Like you're
And
asking two
Suzu
different
has
things
been
of people.
great in tags, and
Yeah,
she
like Suzu is exceptional
hasn't
in
had
tags.
great singles in a while.
And also, Tam Nakano in
Like
preview
legit
tags
great.
is like prime best wrestler you've ever seen. She is insane in preview tags. So there is always a drop off, but I think they could deliver a great main event. I mean Tam is going to win. She is from Nagoya. This is her show. She's got bigger fish to fry, and I am just interested in who they set up to challenge her.
Damn, it's gonna be late. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the match. I like Suzu a lot, obviously, and this is a match that I've been kind of waiting for. Even when I wasn't as big of a Tam fan, and I am coming around on Tam, especially her in-ring work, I think has really improved. So I'm really excited for this match. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I obviously think Suzu should win. She won't. Um,
I
but
don't think Suzu should win. I think that would be really
I'm
bad
I'm
for the
I'm Team
canon
Neo
of
Genesis
the
until the end.
company. That's fair.
I don't know if you know this. Most things have been bad for the canon of the company in the past couple months. So
I
like, why not at least do
don't
something fun?
think their attendances would say otherwise. I think like people are like into this. The native fans are into this. Good.
Yeah, well, I'm not a native Japanese, and
Yeah,
I
but
I'm
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying that I think Suzu is cool.
That's fair. That's fair. I also think Suzu's cool. But yeah, I think Tam is retaining. I think her end goal is a Saya Kamatani match.
And that is why I want Suzu to win.
You want Suzu versus Saya instead? You really want Saya Kamatani to beat one of your faves?
That was good in the tournament. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but
Okay.
it was
Yeah,
all right.
You know what I will say? I think the last few pay-per-views have kind of dragged on with undercard tags. I think
There's so
they've
much
done a
on
good
this card.
job. I don't know. It's only like 7 matches. I think they did a much better job of cutting down the fat. I think the big four-way tag and the
Yeah,
6-on-6. I think it gets rid of 2 additional matches that were
I think
needed.
I'm just looking at. I think there's just too many hate members. Frankly,
Okay.
I
They're
think
all
that
in
is
like
ultimately
I
my
was gonna say they're
problem.
all in one match, but they're not.
Yeah,
They're in
they're in
four.
3 matches. No, 4.
Four. That's crazy. How are they in 4 matches and one of them is a 6-on-6? That's mad. Yeah, no, I mean when you look at the main card, it's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, six,
I think
7.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
8
that bad.
matches
It's
is
just
fine.
there's a lot of half of them have hate in them. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's fair.
Um, and that's not great. I don't love that.
Pre-show
And
matches don't count to
I
me as
like
well,
some of
so
these
it's
people, but
I like some of these people. All right. Well, that's that. I think we're in for an interesting week. I think the Korkin will be
mm,
fine, and I think the pay-per-view could be good. And we'll be back next week to discuss all of it. We will have to balance a lot because Marigold's Korkin is the Monday. Is that Korkin? And Stardom is on house show tour, and Marigold is also doing house shows. So I think the week after, when we're previewing, I think we can go fairly lax. So we'll likely just focus on the reviews next week. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I think that's that for this week.
Hmm.
All right. If you got any closing remarks, or shall I close the show?
I just want to watch 80s wrestling. Yeah.
Nerd. Anyway, if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Ijo.
Stay golden. Oh wait,
Yeah, you did it right. I
stay
did it wrong. Stay golden.
stay golden. Ijo.
Ijo.